It starts with an email that hits your inbox. It's cold, impersonal, and instantly you feel a twist in your stomach. You know what's coming. There's a meeting room. It's away from everybody else in the workplace. And there's two words which really make it hit home, and that is you can bring a support person. It's the moment everything changes, your work life, your home life, even how you feel about yourself. And you're left grappling with the shock, even before you've heard those words, and they are coming. I'm sorry, but we're going to have to make you redundant.
And for many former colleagues, friends, mentors, that was the news they heard last week, Corey, as a significant amount of people were made redundant from SCA last week.
Yep, and that's what we're going to chat about today. My name is Corey Kay. This is Mickey Maher. We are from Thinking Cap Solutions. This is our podcast talking about content, audience and engagement and leadership. In today's episode, and we said it up front, Mickey, it was a tough old week last week, and we're really feeling for those in an industry and also a company that we work for with some significant redundancies last week.
Yeah, real close to home, and a lot of people that we've worked with and been close to for a very long time. Tough for them, and we'll continue to check in on them. And I hope anyone listening, if you know of anyone, you too are reaching out and checking in on those that have had that news delivered to them last week, because it's not easy to go through.
And let's just say up front, these are business decisions and really tough to make. And I don't think anyone wants to make anyone redundant. It's the market conditions. There's a lot of factors involved. This is really about hopefully offering this episode today, because we have been through it. We've been on both sides of the desk, is offering some support, advice, having a chat off the back of what is a significant moment in people's lives. So let's cut to the chase, Mickey, because we've both done it. We've felt it. You've just been made redundant. What do you do now?
I think the first thing is allow yourself to feel all the feels, and it's absolutely normal and okay to go through a roller coaster of emotions. Everyone will receive it and go through it very differently, but it's not uncommon to go through a whole mix of emotions at various times, from sadness to fear to frustration, anger and the likes. It's okay to feel those things. You've got to allow yourself to, because it's simply just part of the process. It's also okay not to be okay, and hopefully for everyone involved that you are getting a bunch of people rallying around you, friends, family, colleagues, former colleagues, to support you. But equally for yourself to be okay to put your hand up and say, hey, I'm having a moment. I need someone right now. Let it be for an ear or support or guidance, whatever it is. So accept the roller coaster of emotions you've got to go through, but don't allow you to sit there for too long, because that's not healthy.
You know, there's people in all different situations. We've got those who've probably been with the business for 20 years and feel like this is the only thing that they can do, and might have a nice little payout, which hopefully can keep them going. But on the other end, you've got those who've only got 4 weeks to make something happen and get food on the table, pay mortgages. It's a lot. But I remember a piece of advice, and this might not be right for everyone, but the best advice you gave me was get away, take a break.
Well, I think you've got to detach from the rawness of the moment, and part of that is to allow yourself to mourn, and it kind of is, in particular for anyone that's been in a job or a company for an extended period of time. But then you also need to allow yourself to recalibrate and refocus. And so detaching, and for whatever that is, to your point, not everyone can afford an extended break, so it might be a matter of days, a long weekend, a week, a month, whatever you can afford yourself, but allow yourself to do that. The worst thing you want to do is to go, oh my God, I've been made redundant today. Tomorrow I'm out there looking for a job, and not even allowing yourself to hang on a minute. I just need to separate for a minute, because that moment is, one, good for your own mental health and potentially good for those around you, partners, family, if you've got it. That allows you that moment, which is some valuable advice we all got, was stop for a minute to think around what is it you want to do next. Because it's very well you could be like you and I, Corey, where, you know, we dedicated more than 20 odd years to our careers. So you think that's all you know. So there's this thing where you go, well, that's all I need to be doing. But if you stop and check for a minute, what are those interests that you've got away from your career, or those things that you've gone, oh, if I had the time, I would love to get into this, because it might just allow you that time to think, well, actually, you know what, maybe I should start pursuing that or exploring what that looks like, which leads to another one, which is around what you might hear around transferable skills. Now, that was really foreign to me after 28 years when people said, oh, yeah, you've got so many transferable skills. I said, what do you mean? I've been doing radio for 28 years. That's all I know. I can't see how I'm going to be able to help any other organisation. But it wasn't until I spoke to people that had walked that path before me and understood it from their point of view. But then I also invested in a career coach to give me some clarity around, well, okay, well, you've built teams, you've ran national content strategies, you understand audiences, you've done all these things. That's adaptable to all of these different kind of industries. So now it's just a matter of what industry you're interested in versus is there any jobs out there? Because absolutely. And it was a really great confidence booster at a time when your confidence is at an all-time low. So the thing is, it feels crappy now, but it won't be, because you will get through this, because you're not the first and you're not the last to be made redundant. So rest assured a little bit with that, to go, there's people that I can lean into to sort of walk the path that can give me guidance. And once I stop for a minute and check myself, I can get help to understand what's those transferable skills. And hopefully that gives you some great confidence to go, well, I know far more than I actually thought I did, and I can add value to places I never even considered before.
Another big part, and another thing you talked to me about, was maintaining really good habits during the process.
Trying to establish or continue a routine is really important just for your own mental health. And it might be as simple as continuing to go to the gym, getting up for a morning walk, or, getting out of bed, having a shower, putting some nice clothes on and driving down to a cafe for a coffee or whatever it is. But just keeping some kind of discipline and formality into your life, because the risk otherwise is you sit at home, feel sorry for yourself. You might sleep in, stay in your PJs or whatever. And before you know it, a week, a month's gone by and you've continued to feel sorry for yourself, as opposed to go through the moments and go, all right, let's refocus and let's go. So you want to move really quickly to the future and the things that you can control.
And finally, I just want to say, don't do it alone. Everyone has different kind of networks. And luckily for me, I had family, I had friends, I had you. I was well supported through the process and I was very open to using it. Other people don't have that. And I encourage you, because we know companies offer up resources for you. Take it. Don't sit there alone. Don't take all the weight of it on your own. You may feel embarrassed. There's a myriad of emotions. Whatever your network is, manufacture one, find one. Don't walk this path alone.
Yeah, and I love your tip there around tapping into the resources that your former employer will offer you. There's a stigma that can come with that, or at least from a bunch of people that I've spoken to. But I've also spoken to enough people to go, but I took them up on the offer and I'm so glad I did. And that's things like you typically will be offered the opportunity to get some counselling if you need it. And there should nothing to be ashamed about for that. But also career coaches that can help you identify those transferable skills, and those that can help you write a resume. And if you're someone like me who after 28 years, I don't remember, I think it was 17 the last time I had a resume, your former employer is going to pay for it. If you were to choose to pay for it yourself, it could cost thousands of dollars. So take them up on the offer. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain from it. So lean into it.
I ended up taking not the one from the company. I went and saw a psychologist. I think it was about 2 months into it. And it was just to get someone objective who's trained in that field. Because when you've had 19 years in the one industry feeling that's all you can do, you've got to do the right thing by yourself and start to unpack it with someone who knows what the heck they're talking about, can be really objective around it. It was such a healthy process to go through, Mickey, and it really cleared the decks for me mentally, and I highly recommend it to anyone. All of our thoughts go out to those who've been made redundant. It is a really awful situation to be in. Yeah, it's a really crappy time. But there's also other stakeholders to consider as well, and it's those who are left behind. The loss of work colleagues. Culturally, that can be really challenging. And then there's the workflow. What would you suggest to those who are left behind and maybe feeling a little bit disenfranchised, even feeling, could it be me next?
So I would say control what you can control. And I mean that in regards to you've still got a job, you've still got a responsibility of what you need to deliver each day. Come to work with the right attitude, be hyper productive, do the best job possible. And that's just at the base level, because what's the opposite to that? Well, you get caught up in what's very, very likely to happen, which is office gossip, well, who's going to be next, the jokes and the negativity that might be, I can't believe this company, all that kind of stuff. None of that is productive. So don't go down that path. It will not do you any good. So control what you can control, which is how you turn up every day. That's the first step, I think, to go, well, you know what, I have a job and I've still got money coming in and I've got a job to do. So let's get on and get it done.
I'll ask you about what I could do if I'm left behind and to somewhat try and protect myself when the next round comes up, because I know you've been in the room before where you've had to make decisions on who stays and who goes, which is an awful situation to be in, but just, again, the reality of business. What advice would you give to those who are in that, I'm still here, what can I do to ensure next round I'm likely not to be picked?
It's how you're upskilling yourself. It's how you're diversifying what you bring to the party. It's better late than never, I guess, but I'd be encouraging that to anyone in any industry anyway, that we live in a world where every organisation, every industry continues to evolve and change. Obviously, the biggest thing, over the last few years is the inclusion of AI and what it's going to do. Now we can fear it or we can lean in on it. So no one's immune to change. It's going to be there. So if we stay stuck in our ways, then you limit your ability to be relevant and to continue to add value to the business beyond just the day-to-day. So my advice is, what do you know about your business's forward plans, where it wants to go? And do you have skills in that are perhaps being underutilized that you can put your hand up and lean into opportunities? Or can you see the company's been very clear that they want to go down a path and you go, well, actually, I don't know a lot about that area. Well, what can you do about it? Is there things you can do internally to upskill yourself? Is there external courses you can do? These kind of things can help you be somewhat future-proof and make it harder, because I have been in those rooms and they're difficult conversations because it's not about the person, it's about the role, but there's still a real human side of it. And typically when you're looking at it and going, okay, well, which roles are not giving us as much value today and not helping us where we want to go, then what are the people doing those roles? It's typically those that don't have multi-skills or multi-roles that are first to be questioned.
Yeah, and I'm taking from that, it's not suggesting for a second that you all of a sudden over-index with your hours. It's how many hats can you wear? How can you multi-skill to make yourself more invaluable to the business side? I think it's a really good point. The last thing I'll offer up is work out a plan B and an exit strategy, because read the tea leaves. There's a reality with the world at the moment. And unfortunately, like we said, no business is immune to it. Whether it's a passion point, it's a TAFE course, have something bubbling on the side that you can start to work away with that potentially can be. And all it is a fallback plan. If I could go back in time, I feel like I probably wasted a good chunk of time not developing something else, even if it was a personal interest that could grow into something. But then in an instance where you've got to pull the ripcord and you've got nothing to go to, do the best you can, head down, bum up, but have some kind of plan B and exit strategy. Let's move on to another group of people that I feel for in these instances, Mickey, and those are the leaders, the ones who have to deliver these messages to people. It's a tough gig. It's a lonely gig.
I've never met a leader that enjoys having those conversations to let people go and tell them that their role is now redundant. So while they're potentially fortunate enough to still have a job, it doesn't make their job any easier. And I would encourage them to also look out for themselves and own that feeling that comes with it. I know for me in the early stages of having these, I'd get quite worked up about it, even to the point of tears at some point. I do recall a stage where I think I had to let more than a half a dozen people go in the one day, and going home that night and, crying to my wife and going, this is just hard, because, while you sort of get encouraged to try and detach yourself, it's hard when you're dealing with real human beings and people you care about. In most cases, people that you've hired into the business, and now you're telling them, well, you're out of the business. So it's again, it's that okay to not be okay. But so look after yourself, reach out for help if you need it. But also, now's your time to lead. This is where great leaders are defined and great leaders are required the most. It's not when things are all rosy and everything's perfect. It's when times get tough. So this includes getting around your people. You should know your team exceptionally well and know potentially the temperature of the room, what they'll be feeling right now. One-on-ones is really important. giving them a chance to hear from you, chance to speak their mind and perhaps vent. So hold the bucket for them while they let off some steam if they need to do that, and allow you to reassure them, perhaps not of job security because you can't give them that, but reassure them of the value that they currently add and the appreciation that you have for them being in the roles that they're in right now.
Self-care is so important, and I'm so happy you brought up that other point. You also are going to play a really pivotal role in everything that we're talking about and bringing it all together, because it is such a challenging time and it's not easy, but that's why you get the big bucks, right? That's why you get the training to be in the moment and to lead teams through this kind of disruption.
I think the more a leader can open up and perhaps even show an element of vulnerability, because if you're a leader that just turns up the next week or the next day as if nothing happened the day before, then it perhaps runs the risk of showing that, well, you've got no empathy, no understanding of the enormity of what's just happened here. Because trust me, your staff do. There absolutely will be an underlying feeling of uncertainty. So you can either pretend it doesn't exist, or you can be a great leader and be open and transparent and go, look, guys, it's really tough right now. And I feel for you. And you know what? I can't give you job certainty or security. All I can tell you, as a company, we're doing everything we can to keep as many people employed, and we've got a plan, we've got a focus, and this is what it is, and this is the role you play. And I hope to think that every leader is doing that.
When the news broke last week, and that I just really dislike the word, it's got such a stigma attached to it, redundancy, I couldn't help but start feeling, taking me kind of back there, and I'd like to have a chat about the handling of redundancies. I instantly go there because there's upward of 40 conversations that are happening around the country with all different personalities and all different levels of leaders and managers. And I think that as leaders, we have this amazing responsibility to have people and to work with them, to make them feel safe, to challenge them, sometimes reprimand them. And we also have a responsibility to exit them the right way. But I think back to when I had these conversations, and it was over the course of 2 days, 3 people. One went from the script, one didn't say a word, crickets, wow. And the third one handled it really well professionally, and I was able to, let's get off the script, we're all big boys here. And you keep in mind, I'm 20 years in, I'm a manager, I like to think I've got a fair amount of resilience, and actually gave permission to, okay, let's start working through the fundamentals of it. The person on the script, that's cold. I think we can be better than that, particularly when you work with someone and you're having a laugh and working on strategy days prior. You can bring the human side to it. The person who doesn't speak, they don't get my attention, they don't get my eyes, they don't exist in the room. Disappointing, yes. And then I think of the person who actually handled it professionally, showed the human side, acknowledged me, my career. Now, no one's looking for a parade on the way out. That's not what this is about. But it's about being respected on the way out. And I hope that our colleagues last week had that, and I hope for anyone who goes through it that it's handled. Yes, there's a business side of it. We've got the script, and we don't want to misstep, but let's be a human as well.
Everyone deserves to be treated exceptionally well on the way out as much as they do on the way in. And while those conversations are not easy for anyone, those on the receiving end or those giving it, there are things leaders can do. And again, you're a leader for a reason. So this is when you need to take control and conduct yourself in the most professional, best way possible, even if it isn't easy to have those conversations. And that starts, I guess, for me with being prepared in regards to understanding what's the legalities of what I have to say, that script that people in culture or your HR team give you. So I can make sure I get that point across, but without it feel like I'm getting in there and I'm not giving you eye contact. I'm simply reading it off a script because there's no authenticity in there. Understanding who it is I'm delivering that news to, because I'd like to think you're the one delivering it because you know these people really well. So you should understand and have a good idea on probably how they're going to respond. Are they going to be kind of let's just get to the point like you were, and let's just have the conversation. And let's not fluff around here. Or is it someone that it needs to be a bit more gentle? Is it someone that's potentially going to get highly emotional, or perhaps someone that's going to get fired up and go, "This is ridiculous. I don't agree with the decision." The more you can prepare yourself, it puts you in good stead for how to conduct that conversation. It also shows that you understand them and you're showing empathy as well. And I think that's important here, is that let it be this person's been with you for 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, or whatever it might be. I'd like to think that they've added value in the period of time that they've worked with you. So showing that appreciation on the way out, acknowledge the time they've been with you, acknowledge why they've been with the organisation and what they've done and how you've appreciated that. Little things like that can go a long way to make such a difficult conversation for everyone involved more understanding and accepting.
I hope anyone listening, Mickey, is taking this with the intent that we've given it, and that's hopefully helpful. I don't know if it is, because it probably feels like a dark place at the moment, but everything's going to be okay. And we're proof of that. A lot of people we know are affected, and we'll reach out to those people, and we already have. But for anyone, Mickey, like we're open and welcome to hear from anyone who would just like to have a chat.
Happy to be an ear or a support for you. Reach out to us. Our emails and mobile numbers are on our website, which is where you can contact us, thinkingcapsolutions.com.au, or on LinkedIn, Thinking Cap Solutions, or on one word. You can send us a DM.